All right, so today we're going to be doing, make sure you've updated, this is number 14. We're going to be solving inequalities. The first thing I want us to do, though, we have a test this Friday. One of the big questions about the test Friday has been vocabulary. Is there vocabulary? What is the vocabulary? There's one vocabulary question, and I'm going to give it to you today. We're going to write it at the very top of our notes today, okay? So you have from today until Friday to make sure that you know this one vocabulary part, okay? All right, so let's make sure, let's go ahead and number this 14 if you haven't already. All right, and the big vocabulary question for our test tomorrow. Guys, it's one thing. There is no word bank. There is no word bank here. That's for y'all and for my regular classes. There will be no word bank for any math classes for this, okay? All right, what you need to be able to fill in on the test Friday is an inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares quantities An inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares quantities. What is the vocabulary word there? Inequality. So you need to be able to tell me, and we've actually had that vocabulary word on a test before. All right, we've had that vocabulary word on a test before because this isn't the first time we've seen those inequalities, the less than and greater than symbol. All right, so you're going to see it again on the test Friday. All right, there's one more bit of information you need to know. All right, inequalities use these symbols and then you're going to need to be able to fill that in. So raise your hand if you can tell me, what symbols do inequalities involve? Yes, Maggie?
Greater than.
Greater than.
Less than.
Less than.
Greater than or equal to.
Greater than or equal to with the line.
And less than or equal to with the line.
And less than or equal to with the line. Perfect. All right. Guys, if you can fill that in, you're ready for the test. Or you're ready for that question on the test. Let me rephrase that. Okay. So we have questions about that? Right. I think everyone in here was here yesterday. Yesterday, the big thing that we talked about, yesterday when y'all walked into class, y'all had never seen that bar underneath a lot of us. All right, and yesterday we talked about that bar just means that now it doesn't just have to be greater than or less than. It can be greater than or equal to. And we use that example of your science field trip. If you're going on the science field trip, you need to turn in at least $10 by Wednesday to your science teacher. All right? So does that mean that you have to turn in exactly $10? No, you can turn in $10, but what else could you turn in? More than that. You can turn in the entire field trip amount. You can go ahead and pay for your field trip. All right? Or you can pay the $10 to hold your spot. So that would be an example of when we need the greater than or equal to, because you can turn in equal to 10 or you can turn in more than that, okay? So these symbols come in handy as we get talking about algebra, and we're not just comparing specific numbers, but we're comparing situations. Y'all see that difference? Okay. All right. Make sure you put your name on your notes. Make sure you filled in your name. All right, and then we're going to move into today's lesson. All right, today we're going to be, hold on, one little thing real quick. Before we do that, let's make sure we put like a big old star next to this, because this is on the test, which is when? Friday. Like, make sure you know that is on the test Friday, okay? On the test Friday. Don't want anyone to not have the correct information. Okay, here we go. So we're going to solve these inequalities, and then we're going to graph the solution. So guys, here's the cool thing. Solving inequalities, y'all actually know how to do this already. We did it 2 weeks ago when we solved equations. All right, so right here it says 8x is greater than 16. Before, you have solved something like 8x equals 16. And we would draw the line, and then we would do the opposite. We're going to do the exact same thing. So right here it says 8x, which means multiplication. What is the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. How do I write division? What's my new way that I should be writing division? Hayden? As a fraction. So I'm going to do divided by 8 by writing that fraction bar. And if I do it to one side, do it to the other. Divided by 8. All right, remember those quizzes went back to you that we did those steps on? A lot of us missed a lot of points just because we didn't show our work correctly. If I write it, that's how it should be on your paper. If you don't understand why I'm writing it the way I am, I need to see a hand so we can talk about it. Raise your hand, ask a question, okay? All right, so right here, now this says 8 divided by 8. Well, what is 8 divided by 8? 1. So guys, that just becomes 1. And what is 1x? Just an x. So x is by itself now. Instead of putting an equal sign here, what symbol have we been using? The greater than symbol. So I'm going to bring down my greater than symbol. That's the only difference between what we did before. It's not an equal to, it's a greater than. All right, and then this says 16 divided by 8. What is 16 divided by 8? 2. Remember, when I'm graphing these or when I'm writing these, where do I want my letter? In the front. Is my letter in the front? Yeah, so guys, this is a good answer. That's my answer. That's what we want. Okay. So we solved it. We did the opposite on both sides. That's all you're doing. Now we need to graph it. Yesterday we learned how to graph these. 2 is an important number, so I want 2 near the center of my graph. So I'm going to put 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in front of 2, I'm going to fill that in with 1 and 0. So let's make sure we filled in our graph. All right. So now 2 is important. I need a certain type of dot on 2. What type of dot do I need? Juliana? An open dot. Remember, that's like my invisible dot. Because this says x is greater than 2. So can x actually be 2? No. So we're using that open, invisible dot because is 2 really there? No. It's just important. Okay? So we're circling it because it's important, but we're not filling it in. Now I need an arrow. What direction is my arrow going, Gabe? Towards the bigger numbers. My arrow, and you can see right here. Do y'all see how that shows which way to point? It's going towards the right, so we need our arrow here to go towards the right. Those should match. And if I do my arrow at the end, does that shape match what was in my inequality? Yes. All right. So guys, how many answers did we really get? I mean, my answer is x is greater than 2, but how many numeric answers are there really in this answer? Hayden? More than 2. Juliana? An infinite. Juliana, why do you say that there's an infinite number of answers here? There's an infinite number of... So it says, guys, it says that x has to be greater than 2. So that means all of the numbers that are bigger than 2 are actually my answer. So let's think about that. Like this says, like, is 3 bigger than 2, guys? Yeah. So if I plug that in, if I say 8 times 3, what is 8 times 3? 24. Is that greater than 16? Yeah. So does 3 work? Let's get down to 5. All right. Let's say I did 8 times 5. What's 8 times 5? 40. Is 40 bigger than 16? Yeah. I could skip down to like 10. What's 8 times 10? 80. Is 80 bigger than 16? Yeah. And I could just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because every single time it's going to get greater than 16. So you have an infinite number of answers on that graph. Isn't that kind of cool? You're not just stuck with one thing. All right. Let's look at number 2. Number 2. So I'm going to draw my line again. Okay. All right. So my variable this time is on the right side. It says h minus 9. So what do I need to do to both sides? Julia? Add 9. So underneath minus 9, I'm going to put plus 9. If I do it on one side, do it to the other. So I get plus 9 and plus 9. All right, what's 13 plus 9 going to give me? 22. I'm going to keep that greater than symbol there. What happens to my minus 9 and my plus 9? Eli? They X out. They go away. So I want to make sure, guys, you need to show that those are going away. So now what's left right there? H. Now, guys, is that a good answer? Is that a good way to have my answer written? No. Raise your hand if you can tell me what's wrong with that answer. Gabe? The letter should come first. So I'm going to put H in front. And if I put H in front, my 22 has to go to the back. When I switch my H and 22, what else do I have to switch? Aiden? My greater than sign. It has to switch to less than. So it switched directions. So now the answer that I actually want is H is less than 22. Guys, did I do that in the beginning? I didn't move anything until the very end. That's how you're going to prevent mistakes. Don't switch anything. Don't move it until the very end, okay? So we have 22, so I'm going to put 22 near the center. 23, 24, 25. I'm going to put 21 and 20. What type of dot do I need here? What type of dot do I need here, Maggie?
Open dot.
An open dot? In which direction am I going to go here? Lily? Where? The lower numbers. So if I look in my new problem that I wrote, my arrow is pointing to the left, so I'm going to go to the left towards those smaller numbers. Okay? All right. Let's look at number 3. Guys, this, number 3, that fraction bar messed up a lot of us. Our work did not look like a lot of us lost points on this work, okay? So I want us to pay very close attention to how our work needs to look on number 3. All right, this says R divided by 3. What's the opposite of R divided by 3? Layla? 3 times R. All right, guys, that 3 has to be next to your R. Guys, if I put 3 times 3 on the bottom, what's 3 times 3 give me? 9. Did anything go away? No, it got bigger. Do we want it getting bigger, guys? No, that's a problem, all right? What I want is my 3 on top and my 3 on bottom. I need those to cancel. If I just put 3 times 3, is that going anywhere? No. But now I have 3 on top and 3 on bottom, which means 3 divided by 3. Now is that going to go somewhere? Yeah, 3 divided by 3 goes all the way down to 1, which means 1R, which is just an R. So I get R, keep my symbol, greater than or equal to. Oh, if I do it on one side, gotta do it to the other, y'all. I almost forgot that times 3 over there. Y'all even saw me trying to write my answer. All right. Make sure when you write that times 3, go ahead and write it on the other side so you don't make the mistake I almost made. It's bad. All right, so 5 times 3, what's that give me now? 15. All right, guys, is that a good answer? Is that good? Is that something I can graph? Yeah, my letter's in front. That's excellent. Okay, so I'm going to put 15 somewhere near the middle, 15, 16, 17, 18. And in front of 15, I have 14 and 13. All right, so you're just filling in those numbers, put 15 somewhere near the middle, fill in the rest of them. Mason, you with me still? Okay. What type of dot do I need here, Mason?
We're on number 5, right?
We're on number 3.
Number 3, oh, okay. We need
A closed dot because it has that equal to line underneath. So we're going to fill that dot in because it has the equal to line. And what direction am I going to be going here, Sasha? Towards the bigger numbers because my arrow is pointing to the right. So we're going to the right. All right, number 4. What am I going to do to work out number 4, Stone? Minus 18. Make sure we're doing that on both sides. What happens to my plus 18 and my minus 18? Maggie?
They have to cancel each other out because if you add something and then subtract the same amount, it's basically the same number.
Yep, if you add something and then subtract the same amount, it goes away, so that's gone. And we just have n. Keep our greater than symbol, and 20 minus 18 is? Is that a good answer? Yes, my letter's in front, so that is good. That's all we're wanting is our letter in front, okay? So let's do 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I have 1 and 0. What type of dot do I need? What type of dot do I need here, Jordan? Open dot. What direction are we going to be going, Camilla? Towards the bigger numbers. It's pointing to the right. Let's go to the right. Okay. And guys, I love that description of just saying go into the bigger numbers or go into the smaller numbers. Then you don't have to worry about if you're messing up your left and rights. We talked about yesterday. Y'all know I have trouble with that. So I like the bigger and smaller side. All right. Ready to keep going, guys? So this is a good review on those equations, isn't it? Making sure, guys, make sure our work matches. That's what we're looking for here. All right, number 5. Number 5. What do I need to do to solve number 5, Braden? Divide 4 by 4 and then do it to the other side. Making sure we write our division symbol just with that fraction. All right. So what is 12 divided by 4 going to give me? 3. Keep my less than or equal to sign. 4 over 4. What happens to 4 divided by 4? Caden? They cross each other out. It's just becoming 1, and that's 1b, which is just b. All right? 3 less than or equal to b. Is that a good answer? Is that a good way to write my answer, Lauren? No, what should I do, Lauren? Your sign? So she said switch the b and the 3, and then we also have to flip that symbol. All right, so we're changing the less than to greater than now. So now that's a good answer. B is greater than or equal to 3. Let's number this down here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have 2 and 1. What type of dot am I going to want here, Malachi? A filled-in dot, closed-up dot on number 5, a regular one. And Frank, what direction are we going to go? To the big numbers. Go into the right. Very good. Okay. All right. Number 6. Getting a little repetitive, but that's good. That means we're practicing a lot. Harper, what do I need to do on number 6? Mm-hmm. Add 8. Make sure we're doing that to both sides. Michael, what happens to my minus 8 and plus 8? We bring down the j. Make sure we're showing that minus 8 and plus 8. They cancel out. Make sure we mark those out. All right. Less than or equal to. What do I get over there for 9 plus 8, Michael? 17. Is that a good answer? Yeah, the letters in front, that looks good. Okay, so now let's graph it. 17, 18, 19, 20, 16, and 15. What type of dot do I need on this problem? Savannah? Closed dot. What direction, Malachi? To the smaller numbers. Excellent job. All right. Number 7, this is that hard one. Let's see if we can show our work correctly. That includes me. Remember last one I messed it up a little bit. Gabe, how am I going to show my work on number 7? What should that look like? On number 7, to work this one out, what am I going to do? If it's n divided by 6, what's the opposite? So we're going to put our times 6 next to n, and if I do it on one side? Do it to the other. So I'm going to put my times 6 by 2. Okay, so we did times 6 on both of those. My 6 on top and 6 on bottom. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So that's going away. Leave me with 1 n, which is just n. N is less than 2 times 6? 12. Is that a good answer? Yeah, my letters in front. That's good to go. All right, so let's number that. 12, 13, 14, 15, 11, and 10. What type of dot do I need here, Rebecca? An open dot. And which direction am I going to go on this one, Bailey? To those smaller numbers. To the left. Okay. All right, last one, number 8. What do I need to do to solve number 8, Gabe? Add 10 to both sides. All right, so 6 plus 10? 16. Keep my symbol, less than or equal to. What happens to my minus 10 and plus 10? Those go away, so I have just K. Is that a good answer? No. What do I need to do to that answer, Layla? Flip the K, switch the sign, make sure that 16 goes at the end. Now, is that a good answer? Yeah, make sure we flip everything in it. So now I have 16, 17, 18, and then we have 15 and 14. What type of dot do I want here, Malachi? A closed dot. And which direction am I going, Mason? To the bigger numbers. Okay. All right, guys, on your homework, it does say to solve and graph. Now, on your notes, I did draw those number lines to make it a little bit easier. On the homework, you have to draw your own. How many marks do you need on a number line? 5 or more. 5 or more. So, greater than or equal to 5. See what I did there? All right. So, guys, make sure you're solving them and graphing. You do have to graph them, all right?